Why are they laughing at this man? He's not doing anything. He's just sitting there. And everybody wants to laugh at him. Tries to do stand-up comedy. And all he has to do is just stand on a stage and everybody wants to laugh at him. The ridiculous appearance. And if a man, and I'm talking about myself certainly, it would be worthless what I'm saying. I would have no credibility at all if I wasn't the fact that I'm talking about. What would give me the right to talk? What would give me the right to have the confidence and the credibility, the complete confidence in what I'm saying about strategies for the small, short man, if I wasn't the fact? If I hadn't done the very, very, very hard critical thinking over the years, if I hadn't observed and talked and have seen the situations with other small, short men like me, socially, what would I be worth talking to anybody? What's it like to be mocked, to be ridiculed, to be laughed at wherever I go? What's it like to be embarrassed and embarrassable and so sensitive you can't even show yourself? In terror of some clown out there ridiculing, mocking, trying to get one up on him, laughing behind his back. And if it becomes a dangerous way of life, force of habit, and then it's reinforced by all the escapes, all the hero figures, all the procrastination that our culture offers us. If that weren't so, how do you make a profit? How do you sell a man a symbol, the sizzle of a steak, and charge him a big price for nothing? And he pays the price for the dream, for the escape. Dreams, illusions, delusions, escape are very expensive. They don't come cheap. They ask a very hard price. Ask me! Ask the man who knows for sure. It's a very hard price that has to be paid. What does it feel like to be the stranger in the night? What does it feel like to walk down the streets of broken dreams late at night? What does it feel like to fight the cold, the hawk, the rain blowing into you, the wind, the hard driving into the bone until it's painful? And tell it to the hawk on a winter night, on a cold, bone-chilling winter night. And when that winter wind gets into the bone, we're talking pain. What's that like? Nobody hides from the hawk. Nobody sitting on a park bench in New York City in the cold of winter will lie to me, will put up a front. That's when I get the truth. That's when there's no one-upsmanship here. There's no one-upsmanship here. We're all suffering the same. How do you get the truth out of a man? That's all you can get out of him. An honest, clean communication. How do you do it? Very hard to accomplish. How do I force a man to not bullshit me? How do I put him in a position and force him to tell me the truth? without trying to evade, trying to double talk, trying to double bind me. You can't. Unless you could put the man in extreme social situation, you got to put a little pain on that man. You got to put a little hurt on him. You got to twist that arm to the breaking point to get some truth out of him. It's a skill. All of this and much, much more is totally confronted, encountered, and comprehended in Strategies for the Small Short Man that I'm a part of. And for me, it's all happens in the now. It all happens in the arena of confrontation and encounter. For me, everything is confrontation and encounter in the arena with no template. Just the happening in the now. I believe you get what you are, not what you want, not what you deserve. Nobody deserves anything. There's no entitlements. In reality, there is absolutely no entitlements. That's a fantasy. That's a delusion. That's wishful thinking. I don't believe in wishful thinking. I believe wherever I walk, wherever I go, my higher power is a cold, hard, prosecutorial, brutal reality that walks with me, that sits on my shoulder everywhere I go. And I don't mean a superego that's dominant, that's controlled by authority figures. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the reality principle as it actually is confronted and encountered out there in the arena. Without rationalization, without escapes, without being sentimental, nauseatingly sentimental with everything and making drama and soap opera. I don't do that. I don't do that at all. If a man wants to make drama and soap opera, let him go someplace else. I have no time for that. If a man wants to boast and brag and one-up me, I don't have time for that nonsense. If a man wants to insult, mock, and ridicule me, I don't have time for that nonsense. The one thing I hate the most is to suffer a damn fool. This is a man who listens, but he can't hear. He sees, but he can't see. And he comes at me with all the answers, all the sermons, all the ethics and morality and the traditional values, which have been shown to be nonsense 100 years ago when Dr. Freud wrote. It's shown to be nonsense then, and it's garbage today. The very man that's telling me what to do, what's right, what's wrong, what's good, what's bad, what's true and false, is himself derelict of the truth. But he doesn't know it, because he's hiding behind so much pomposity and arrogance, and he knows everything. If you know everything, you know all the... Why the hell are you talking to me for? Give your sermon someplace else. If I want to hear a sermon, I'll go hear a good preacher talk. Don't need it from you, buddy. Man has to learn. Bitter experience, and I mean bitter. In the hardest school of all, how to be the captain of his own ship and the total master of his own fate. What I'm trying to do for my end in Strategies for the Small Short Man is a re-education. Is to make that man any way I can, and I do mean any way I can, self-reliant, a self-starter, tough inside himself, tough inside himself. I want to blood him hard. And I want to check and double check that I've done the job. I want to put him in the most challenging experiences possible. I want to put as much pressure as I can. I believe the more a man sweats, the less he'll bleed when the time comes. I want him prepared. I want him ready. I want him set and ready. And I want to drain every single ounce of fear and hesitation out of him. I want him bold. I want him courageous. I want him aggressive. And I want to make a predator out of him. As long as that is controlled by critical thinking. But I want to make sure he's not afraid in any way or hesitant to ask for what he wants. Anytime, any place, anywhere. That doesn't mean he has to get it. There's no entitlements here. There's no fairness here. I let him know it quickly. We begin with that. You've got to be practical. You've got to be realistic. And you've got to be very, very, very tough-minded. And I don't mean Christian tough love. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about tough love, if you want to call it that. I don't believe in this love nonsense. For his life. I'm playing for his life. Strategies for the small man is about his life. It's that important. What could be more important than that? It's about his destiny. It's about his life. It's about giving him the power to be, to do, and to ask for what he wants. But understand this, all of this is predicated on that short, small man being in the physical shape of his life. I want him driving iron. I want him training in so many different ways. Street fighting skills. I want him brutally tough. I want him set. I want him ready. And I want him to be a force, a primal force of nature. These are the goals, strategies for the small, short man as far as I'm concerned. I wouldn't be a part of it. Listen to me. I wouldn't be a part of this if I wasn't supremely confident. Strategies for the small, short man. Supremely confident of what's being attempted to be accomplished here. This is a genuine contribution to sociology, to making an inquiry, and it acts as a probative to ask better and better questions. I can say that, I'll repeat that, I'll represent that to any man, any woman, any time, any place, anywhere. That's how confident I am about my part in strategies for the small, short man. If it weren't that way, how effective could I be?